the Saints-Packers game this week showed me something. As of right now, I think the Packers are contenders and the Saints are pretenders. So to recap, on Sunday night, obviously the Packers went to New Orleans to play the Saints in a pretty big NFC matchup. I mean, two people who are Super Bowl favorites coming into the season. And it ended 37-30 Green Bay. Really fun game to watch, though, honestly. I mean, I don't have anything really to complain about. It was great, but as far as, the game itself, the biggest storyline, obviously, was both Devontae Adams and Michael Thomas were out. So the two number one receivers and two of the greatest receivers in the NFL both were missing in this game of two NFC juggernauts. So there definitely was a lot riding on this game because it was showing which team can overcome, the challenges posed and really prevail. That being said, with them both missing their number one receivers, I mean, you wouldn't have been able to tell. I mean, they both had over 350 yards of offense. Right around 300 passing yards and about 100 on the ground each. And, that being said, 350 yards is a lot, but the big plays in the air were pretty limited. Now, they would have been more, but the Saints got a lot of penalties in the secondary on big plays by, pass interferences. But there was, though, that one really cool play where Rodgers threw that 72-yard dime to Allen Lazard, which should have been a touchdown, but he just fell a little short. Besides that, I mean, it was just pretty, just good games of offense. Packers, Aaron Rodgers, does a great job airing out the ball, and Aaron Jones had a pretty quiet game for being Aaron Jones. I mean, he only had 69 rushing yards, and he's been killing it before this, so it definitely was a quiet game for him, but it still wasn't awful by any terms. Now, going back to my title for calling Drew Brees, dump off Drew Brees, I mean, that was just the story of the game. I really think that's the reason they lost, obviously, besides their defense caving. I mean, he targeted Kamara 14 times for 13 catches and 139 yards. I mean, he wasn't even really going through his progressions as much as he was just looking at his number one, and if he wasn't open downfield, he just checked down to Kamara. I mean, that's literally why I called him jokingly dump off Drew, but I'm kind of serious about it. I mean, at halftime, his average depth of throw was 4 yards past the line of scrimmage. I mean, that's crazy. I know we called, Michael Thomas, we just joke about how he only runs slants, but I think we're starting to see why. I mean, it really just seems like Drew Brees isn't as comfortable throwing downfield as he once was. I mean, PFF posted a stat that said only 10% of his passes went at least 15 yards in week 3, which was the lowest percentage in the NFL. I mean, this is Brees, the guy who has more 5,000-yard passing seasons than anyone, the guy who has more 4,000-yard I mean, he's been one of the greatest throwers of all time, one of the most accurate throwers of all time, and he's just looking mortal again, It's like that, Bill Burr has that joke about how, Tom Brady looks ageless in the pocket, but then when he's outside, he looks like an astronaut, like on the moon. That's like Brees right now. He just doesn't look like Drew Brees. It literally looks like a different quarterback. Like, I'm not even trying to be dramatic or anything. He's just not the Drew Brees that we all know. I will say this, for the first half, the Packers definitely were trying. It looked like they were trying to stop the big play. Their two safeties were back for a lot, basically trying to get him to throw underneath. But still, a guy like Brees, he always finds a way to force the ball downfield to get the offense rolling, and he wasn't. He just wasn't throwing the ball downfield. He was, like I said, 14 throws to Kamara. That's ridiculous. That's a running back. And he only completed 29. So almost half of his throws went to Kamara that game, which is just ridiculous. And Kamara always just runs like little hitches and flats. Like, it's not like he's running deep downfield. It just shows that, Brees is not looking like the Brees we all know. A guy I think of as one of the greatest throwers ever is looking bad and struggling. They had 2 minutes to score 10 points, at the end of the game. And he just kept checking down. He knows in that situation, he's a veteran. He knows you got to force the ball downfield. You got to hit the numbers. You got to try to get out of bounds. But, it didn't even look like he was trying. It really didn't. It looked like he was just kind of there to be there. I don't know. And that's just very un-Brees. I love Brees. Anyone from an Indiana school, I'm way more inclined to like. But I think this would probably be one of his last years of football, if not his last. He's worth a lot of money. This year he's getting $20 million, and next year he's a $36 million cap hit, okay? Now, again, that wouldn't be awful, but the Saints in 2021 are projected to be $86 million over the salary cap, which, if that isn't salary cap hell, I don't know what is. And they did it to themselves, and if Brees is not playing like he should be able to hit them for $36 million, and I think he if he doesn't improve second half of the season, I really do think that maybe he should sadly retire. I mean, he will go down as one of the all-time greats, but right now, he just looks like an overpaid game manager to me. So, I'm not, trying to pat myself on the back, but I did predict Aaron Rodgers balling out this season. But anyways, going on to what I actually have to say. I said angry Aaron Rodgers in the title. That's almost kind of a lie. He looks so calm and, just cold-blooded in the pocket this year. It doesn't even look like he's trying. He's not discount double-checking or anything. I mean, he's just destroying people and making it look like he's bored with how easy it is. He's a top 3 MVP candidate leading the NFL's best offense, and it looks like he's not even trying. It looks like he's just there to be there. I mean, me and my dad were watching the game, and that's what we noticed is it's just he's not reacting. He's like, cool, touchdown. He's acting like he's been there before. I mean, he's just killing it. I mean, you look at his stats for this year, and it's unbelievable. He's literally the Packers could be probably just play offense and they could still win some games this year. I mean, he's almost had 300 in every game, no turnovers. He's only been sacked twice, which also is a testament to his O-line, but also he's done a good job of getting the ball out. And he's got 9 touchdowns. So he's averaging 3 touchdowns a game, almost 300 yards, and only about half a sack a game. It's unbelievable. His quarterback rating's averaging out at about 120 right now, which is just crazy. I mean, he literally is just dotting up, good teams, and he just doesn't care. It looks like he just doesn't even care. It just blows my mind. Drafting Jordan Love may have accidentally been one of the best moves for the Packers, but not really for the Packers, for Rodgers. Rodgers, already one of the NFL's best quarterbacks in the league, one of the greatest ever, now has a chip on his shoulder. The only other time he really had a chip on his shoulder that I can remember was 2016, the infamous run the table season. Packers sucked. They were 4-6. And then Rodgers in this interview says, look, I think we're going to be a 10-win team. And people were like, you're 4-6. You're a losing team right now. And then they won 6 straight, and he was just a man possessed. The 2016 Aaron Rodgers is who I'm seeing right now. But instead of only 6 games left in the season, he's only played 3, and he's still playing like that. He still is just looking like he does not want to slow down, and he just wants to murder every team he plays. And another thing to just bring up, about the Jordan Love trade just being stupid was, they traded up to draft a quarterback in the first round, okay? When Rodgers is still, last year, literally, he killed it. He was unbelievable last year. Last year, he had 26 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. That's some NFL's quarterbacks' best season in the league, but for him, that's a down season. And they went 13-3. It just blows my mind, and they're talking about how he's only thrown 2 touchdowns in his career at a first-round pick. And you're like, in his 15 years, they never gave him anything. And instead, they're trying to push him out the door by drafting a quarterback. And so now he's like, okay, you want to draft a quarterback? I'm going to make this the hardest decision you have ever had to make. He is going to play so unbelievably good just to spite them. Sure, it's a little petty, but, it's also petty drafting a quarterback to put pressure on your quarterback when he's one of the greatest ever. And then, you look, their next pick was A.J. Dillon, and Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams are so good. So why did they even draft a running back with their second pick? I don't know. Honestly, I hope Aaron Rodgers just gets traded or leaves because the Packers just don't really deserve him. They've kind of just not treated him as good as he should have. Now, they finally gave him a good O-line for the last few years, but, now, I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things where he could have been unbelievable, and he's been limited by what's been around him. Now, don't get me wrong, he's made freaking the best with what's been around him. Like I said, he's one of the greatest passers ever, but it just kind of stinks. And, he's working right now as hard as he physically can while not making it look like he's even trying to show that Jordan Love trade was the stupidest thing and just completely ill-advised. And I really think it's funny because now the first-round pick, all he's going to do is kneel the ball after Aaron Rodgers murdered a team by 20 points in the 4th. And Aaron Rodgers is just like, I don't even want to be out there to kneel it. You can do it. They drafted you first overall, and that's just freaking hilarious. So, yeah, there's my video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment. What do you think about the Rodgers situation in Green Bay? What do you think they're going to trade him now with how good he's playing? Or do you think they're going to trade Jordan Love, kind of Josh Rosen style with the Cardinals? Be sure to let me know. And then Drew Brees, what do you think about him? The sad thing that just seems like he's not competing at the level he once was. It's sad, but, it's football. Leave your comment about that. And, thanks for watching.